Well, hey there. How we all doing today?
Very well.
First thing I'm going to end up doing, and there's a reason behind this picture here, for those of you that did write down how many pawpaws you found, and you wrote it all down, so we know now people's perceptions, what they see, and your name and the amount that you saw is in here. And I'm just going to shake this up. The reason behind this is detail. Paying attention to detail. And that's the same way with grafting. We have to pay attention to detail. Grafting is not a hard thing to do. It doesn't have to be intimidating. It's actually fairly easy. And once you really get used to it, you become addicted. So, I'm just going to reach in here and we're going to look for that magic number. Sorry, Jim. Eric, no, I'm sorry. Steve, I'm sorry. Mike, not working out for you. S. Smith, nope. Mike McDermott, nope. Jeremy, I don't know how you came up with that number. The first one I come across. Last name Milks.
Oh, which one?
It says ALG or something like that.
Allie.
Huh?
Allie.
Allie Milks? Come on up here, Allie.
What's the secret number? So what's the number?
The number is 16. And well, there's one there. Out of curiosity. Oh, there's one right there. Somebody didn't even put their name on this one. They wrote down the number, didn't put their name on it. I'm just kind of curious of how many people did we actually have that had the correct answer. And she just happened to be the first one I drawed out. You had 3 people with the correct answer. And that's what I was saying, attention to detail. Now we have a number of people here, and we have a number of people that put that in there, and apparently we have 3 people that put more attention into what it was that they were looking at. That's yours, young lady.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you want to set it to the side and grab it on your way home, this here is Regulus. That's a variety that's been put out by Tom Wall of Redfern Farms. And I can get with you a little bit later on to take care of that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I do want to say a big thank you to Zach Matisik, Dan's son, and also to Kevin. They came out here and they helped me get this tent set up. And boy, I tell you, you want to talk about a job. Jeez. But anyways, we'll come around to the front of the table here. We're at the Ohio Pawpaw Growers Association's grafting workshop. And move this out of the way. Some things that I do want to cover with you before we get started is trying to understand a little bit of what's going on within that tree. And the pamphlets that they gave you, these illustrations are in here. And right here, I just want to cover a little bit about the anatomy of the log. The anatomy of the log happens throughout the entire tree. It's not just down here in the log of the tree. It will also be in the scion. It's throughout the entire tree. And you can see the components within that log. Now, we got the outer part, which is the bark. And then you got the phloem, which is actually the inner bark. And then the cambium. The cambium is the most important part because that's where your connections is going to be. And then we have the xylem. And then the heart of the tree, which will be right down in here. And then the pith. It's right down the center. Now, all these items your inner bark, your cambium, your xylem, as they grow after you graft, they will slowly but surely just keep bonding. They'll grow. But as time goes on, the tree starts to pick up girth, and then the heart gets larger. And the heart of the tree, whether it is or not, I've always been told by my grandpa, the heart of the tree is dead wood. As far as your phloem, photosynthesis is collected through the leaf system, and it sends that energy back down into the ground in the form of chlorophyll. And it feeds the roots. But there's something attached down there to those roots that it's also feeding, mycorrhiza. And then the mycorrhiza is, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, it's filtering out the carbonated sugars of the chlorophyll, and it's feeding off of that. And in turn, the mycorrhizas is out there and it's pulling other nutrients out of the ground and redirecting it to the tree. And the tree, as it goes back up into the xylem, which a lot of people call sapwood, that's what you're tapping towards to get sap out of maples. Am I right, Mark? So that feeds the tree. Now, this is my theory on the mycorrhiza. Things don't happen for no reason. There's got to be a reason why that mycorrhiza is attached to that root system. It's not attaching itself to the root system just because. There has to be a symbiotic relationship to a degree, and that's what it's all about. And then the cambium is where your connection will be, and it's a little green piece. And that's where your connection will be that makes that bondage. Now, as that tree is growing outwards, that cambium, that inner bark, it's also moving outwards. And when you start to looking at the tree, you see the rings that they say, count the rings to tell you how old the tree is. You've heard that before. That's where those rings are coming from as that tree ages, is pushing outward. Because what happens is these all start changing. Now, me personally, I look at the cambium in my mind, the way I think, that's your conduit. I have American Chinese chestnuts, and I'm dealing with blight right now. And what I foresee that happens is the bark and the phloem starts to decay, and it separates, and it kills out that cambium, and it's not able to have that conduction that we need for that tree to survive. And I think that's what's happening with the blight. But anyways, now what we're going to do is we're going to take you through a series of grafting. And the series of grafting that we're going to take, Mark, here's a seat over here if you want to sit down. Okay. With the series of grafting that we're going to be going through, we have Mark Stander. He's going to be helping us out. What is your nursery's name? Your orchard name, nursery name?
Valley View Woodlands.
Valley View Woodlands.
Urbana, Ohio. Champaign, beautiful Champaign County.
And we also have Mark Boone from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Ann Arbor.
And yours is called?
Boone's Pawpaws.
Boone's Pawpaws? Good. And you'll have me. And I'm JD Pawpaws and More. And we have other grafters that are here that will help in grafting. We have Logan and we have Steve right here. He'll assist in the grafting. But these two right here and myself will give you the demonstrations as we go. And we're going to go ahead and get moving on this because we're short on time. I want to give everybody an opportunity to graft. How many people do we have here that has never grafted a tree? Holy guacamole. So how many of those people are actually going to graft a tree? Okay now. I am glad to hear that. And first and foremost, I want to let you know, do not be intimidated. Do not, because there's nothing intimidating about it. Actually, if you're successful, it's very, very gratifying. Very, very gratifying. And to let you know what we do have here, you'll be given a packet in which Hey, Jim, can you help me out here? Just kind of walk around and pass them out. There's plenty enough there. Let me have, oh, I got one.
You?
All right, what Chin is passing out to you is a packet. Within that packet, I'm going to show you what you have that you will be working with to help you with your grafting. You'll find the little bottles. All that little bottle is a little bit of rubbing alcohol. That's for sterilization of your tools. Just got to give it a little spritz and you're good to go. And the rag, put a little towelette in there. It's a food service type towelette. Once you're done sterilizing your knife and stuff, you can probably wipe it off. But I wouldn't want the alcohol to be mixed into that tree. Just kind of give it a wipe off. So, and then what you'll have is a grafting knife. It's got a budding end for buds or whatever you want to call it. But anyways, these are very sharp. They're extremely sharp. You can actually shave with them. So be extremely careful with them, okay?
Wait, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You call that a budding end. What does that mean?
Steve, can you help me out?
Stone fruits are typically budded and they're done in late September. I'm sorry, late August, early September. It's a different type of graft where you're going to make a cut and you're going to use that metal piece to peel the bark back to put a chip bud in or a T-bud underneath the bark and then be able to close it back up. So instead of getting the oils from your fingers in the tree, you're going to use that metal part to pry it open.
And that is a part of the knife that you'll use in doing a inlay graft, because that's exactly what I use it for. Behind the inlay, I'll open the inlay and I'll shove the knife down in there and I'll break out another knife to get the scion ready for it. That knife will hold that bark open for me. Same thing.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Why do you call that a grafting knife? Why can't I just use my regular pocket knife?
Well, actually, grafting knives, if you look at them, in which
Loaded question.
Well, that was my second question.
Grafting knife
Sorry.
is one-sided. It's a one-sided edge. Okay. And you have what they call a left-hander's and a right-hander's knife. I have both.
Do we have any left-handers in here that need to graft?
You left-handed? Left-handed back here?
I have
Okay.
one also.
I got one right here. So we can help you out. Although I don't know how sharp mine is. I haven't touched it in a while. I'll be all right. It should be. If you look at your grafting knives, you'll see that you have, like on the right-handed knife, this is a right-handed knife. You look at the knife, right at the knife, you'll see the bevel on the right side. Okay? You're looking at your left-handed knife, you'll see the bevel on the left side. That's how you can tell the difference between the two, and they are different. And incidentally, I've used this knife whenever I'm doing tongue and whip on something smaller, because I find by using a left-hander's knife, I don't get the creep. If I use a right-handed knife, it wants to creep on me. So it's just something that I play around with. Let me make sure that's set aside. Another thing that you will find in there is a little metal washer. What that washer is for, whenever you go to graft and you get ready to make your cut into your rootstock, you can slide that right over top of your rootstock and you go to cut downwards, you ain't got to worry about it cutting your fingers. You ain't got to worry about it cutting your fingers. That's going to stop the knife. That's protection. Okay? If you feel uneasy about grafting, you feel uneasy about pulling around the knife, I suggest that you use this. Once you make the cut, you'll pull this up and you'll move on with your grafting. Okay? That's for safety. Thank you, sir. That's for safety. You'll also find in there a rubber band. That's your band tie off. This band right here is a 1/4 inch and it's 0.16 gauge. So that's a pretty good gauge. I have different ones. There's so many different ones out there, it's not even funny. As a matter of fact, whenever I get ready to graft, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to utilize the same tools you got. Okay, that's the reason why I kept the package here for myself. Jen, I need your help again. Just hand him a handful and then pass one down.
Thank you.
Another thing you're going to find in there is a tag. When you graft, mark your tree. That way you know exactly what you have, okay? You go home and say, was that a overlease? Did you say what did they say that was? There ain't no doubt what it was, it's written down, okay? Now, you set this down, and everybody got a pencil? All right, just for the sake of doing it, reach down inside your bag and grab that little rubber band you got inside the bag. I'll show you a real quick trick to kind of help you out. This is a trick that I learned from Cliff England. Some people have a hard time doing it, but whatever works best for you, works best for you. It took me practice. It took me a long time to watch Cliff on the video, and I replayed that video over and over and over again until I seen exactly what it was he was doing, and I started utilizing it. I don't utilize it now, pardon me. I don't utilize it now myself, but it's a really unique trick to help you out. What you're going to do is you're going to take your index finger and you're going to put that right onto your pencil like so. And then when you're grafting, you want to pull on the rubber band a little bit because you want it to squeeze down onto your scion wood and onto your rootstock or wherever that connection is. Certain grafts, it's only going to be on the rootstock. Other grafts, it's going to be on the scion and the rootstock. And then you're going to wrap it around, you're going to catch it right there just like I did. And then you can release your finger off of it. And then what I do is, whenever I'm grafting, I'll take that rubber band, I'll give it a stretch, and I'll wind. But I overlap the rubber band and I work my way down. I wrapped it twice. And if you look, because I'm holding on to it, it's twisting. We don't want that rubber band to twist, we want that rubber band to stay flat. So I release it, put my index finger on there, release it, and then I go ahead and I wind it. That was 3 wraps right there. Release it, now wind it, and as the rubber band gets shorter, you're going to have to drop how many wraps you're going to put on there. And then I'm going to wind it again, and I don't always get it right, but I get it close. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to put it right there where it belongs. See how I got my thumb on there? I've left roughly about 3/4 of an inch of a tag. And I'm going to put my thumb right there and I'm going to wrap over top of my thumbnail like so. And then I'm going to catch it. All I'm doing is pinching the pencil. And then once I've caught it, I'm going to take that rubber band. This time, instead of going over the fingernail, I'm going to go under the thumb just like that. And then I'm going to take my thumb and I'm just going to roll it off. But that takes practice to do that, so it's just something that I want to show you that you can do. All right, that's a pretty slick trick that I learned from Cliff England. Wouldn't you say so, Mark?
I don't think I've mastered it yet.
Hey, I remember down there in Columbus, buddy, you was having a hard time. But I performed it down in Columbus, you know, and everybody, Cliff even applauded, man. I said, Yeah, I've been watching that man like a dog, you know. But anyways, that was just something I wanted to show you. So we're going to move right along. We're going to go ahead and get going with these grafting demos and get things out of the way here. Mark, if you would step up, sir.